Welcome back to Building Character, where we figure out how to play as your favorite fictional characters in Dungeons & Dragons. Join the Patreon to vote for a Nosuke or a Nezuko from Demon Slayer, and like and subscribe for a comfortable place to sit next time you play. Maybe. Today we're building Inuyasha from Inuyasha, a guy who does a little bit of everything. So whether you like big swords, dogs, demons, or tsunderes, this should have you covered. And if you don't like any of those things, what's wrong with you? What do you like? Oatmeal?
Now the doctors are saying that if you'll eat sensible, that's low fat, low cholesterol, that oatmeal can even help bring your cholesterol down. Hear what I said?
Let's start off with our goals for this build. First, we need a subject and a predicate, or if you're not a grammar nerd, we need clause. Next, we'll get a big honking sword, and a way to shoot out a little blast from the big sword. Finally, we need to kill a whole boatload of demons in a single strike. Efficiency really is key. For stats, we'll be using the standard point array from the player's handbook. Roll for stats if you want, just keep your multi-classing minimums in mind. Strength will be number 1, the tessaiga is such a long sword that it's not a long sword, it's a great sword. Wisdom next, you have the nose of a dog in principle and the ears of a dog on your head. Dexterity after that, even if you're going to be mostly using your demonic strength for your damage, you're still fast enough to avoid taking hits. Follow that up with constitution, you literally put the team on your back, so if you die, they're kind of screwed. Intelligence is a bit low, you're prone to being bamboozled, but we'll dump charisma. Communicating how you feel isn't your strong suit. If it was, you wouldn't have gotten pinned to a tree for a few decades. Inuyasha is a half-demon, so Tiefling doesn't really work. He also doesn't have fire resistance without the robe of the fire rat or horns. I also considered Shifter, but there isn't really a Shifter that gets claws, just fangs. You could reflavor it, I guess, but I'd rather just reflavor Tabaxi with the race customization options from Tasha's. Basically, we just get to take the 3 points you get from Tabaxi and put them into Strength and Wisdom instead, which kind of checks out. Dogs have sharper senses and more muscle than cats. We're mostly taking it for Cat's Claws, which make your unarmed attacks deal 1d4 plus your strength modifier in slashing damage and give you a 20-foot climbing speed. We'll just call them Dog Claws. You also get 60 feet of dark vision to fight at night, and feline agility, letting you double your movement speed for a round, but you can't do it again until you spend a round standing still. It's not a huge issue. Once you get in there, you can just smack people around with the tessaiga while you wait for that to recharge. Tabaxi get perception and stealth for free, so we can build our own background for acrobatics and intimidation, helping you do backflips so impressive they're scary. We'll kick things off as a ranger, letting us grab 3 skills from the ranger list, like athletics, survival, and investigation. Your sniffer will help you tracking down demons, even if Kagome is doing most of the work with some version of divine sense or detect magic. We'll deal with that when we build Kagome. You get favorite enemy, giving you advantage on checks to track down enemies of a certain type. Fiends would work well to find demons. You also get canny, letting you double your proficiency bonus with 1 skill, like perception, to smell really good. Not like from cologne, like the act of smelling things. Second level rangers get a fighting style, and unfortunately we can't get great weapon fighting as a ranger, so we'll go for defense to give you +1 to your AC while you're wearing armor. The robe of the fire rat is considered armor, so I'd just put it somewhere in the medium category, helping you keep the damage off. You also get spells like Absorb Elements, letting you give yourself resistance to acid, cold, fire, lightning, or thunder damage as a reaction when that type of damage comes in, and you can Backlash Wave a d6 worth of that damage to a creature you hit with your next attack next round. It's fire resistance and returning fire all in one. Hunter's Mark will let you pick a demon to really wail on, adding an extra d6 of damage to your attacks against them and giving you advantage on checks to track them for an hour depending on your concentration. That means if you use Absorb Elements, you can hit someone with a 4d6 Greatsword Slash. That's a very hefty level of damage for level 2. And it can get even heftier at level 3 when we get to join a Ranger Conclave. The Fey Wanderer might seem a little weird, but we need it for something later. In Kagome's eyes, the feudal era might seem very similar to the Feywild. There's a bunch of monsters running around. It doesn't really make sense how you got in there. It works. For now, you get Dreadful Strikes, letting you add a d4 of extra psychic damage to 1 attack per round, and it bumps up to a d6 at 11th level of Ranger. If we hit 11th level of Ranger, who knows? You also get Otherworldly Glamour, letting you add your Wisdom modifier to your Charisma checks. Inuyasha does get a little bit less feral after traveling with Kagome long enough. Since you can grab another spell here as well, grab Jump. That'll triple a creature's jump distance for a minute. Inuyasha can't quite fly, but with a massive strength score, this will get you to the not quite flying levels of hops. 4th level rangers get an ability score improvement. We'll start off investing in strength. It's pretty important to swing a sword the size of a tree trunk. 5th level rangers get an extra attack, letting you make 2 attacks instead of 1 with your action. That could be a couple of Reavers and Soul Stealers, or just 2 big jumps with a magic sword. Though you'll probably want a magic sword for your magic sword, so grab magic weapon for +1 to attack and damage rolls with your sword for an hour depending on your concentration. It'll also ignore resistances and immunities to non-magical piercing and slashing damage. Quite a few demons get to ignore that regular scratchy, pokey, or smacky stuff. Now you don't have to worry about that. Bounce over to Fighter now, letting you grab another fighting style, and we'll go for a superior technique. That'll give you a Battle Master maneuver and a d6 superiority die to spend on it. Lunging attack adds 5 to the distance of a melee weapon attack, and you can add the d6 to the damage. Generally, this is stretching your blade a little bit further, but I think it works pretty well for a Wind Scar, blasting off with 4d6 slashing damage with Hunter's Mark up, or even 5d6 with a Backlash Wave. You also get Second Wind, letting you recover 1d10 plus your fighter level as a bonus action once per short rest, so you'll be ready for 2 demons in the same night. Second level fighters get Action Surge, letting you make 2 actions instead of 1 once per short rest for 4 attacks with a back-to-back extra attack and some serious slashing speed. Third level fighter is what we're here for, specifically for 4 more superiority die. You can spend on 3 more maneuvers, and all those superiority die are now d8s. I really just wanted more Wind Scars, but I guess evasive footwork will let you add your superiority die to your AC while you're moving to make sure nobody gets opportunity attacks against you. Distracting Strike gives your next ally advantage on their next attack roll against that target to make sure Kagome is landing her shots, and Sweeping Attack lets you hit another creature within 5 feet of the first target with a superiority die's worth of damage. Don't worry, we're not using this to kill whole gaggles of demons, we'll get something else for that later. We'll bounce back over to Ranger now. 6th level Rangers get Roving, adding 5 feet to your movement speed and giving you a climbing and swimming speed equal to your normal speed. Why get stuck in the tree when you could just climb up it? 7th level Fey Wanderers get Beguiling Twist, giving you advantage on saves against being charmed or frightened, and whenever a creature within 120 feet of you makes a save against being charmed or frightened, you can say "No you" and make another creature make a wisdom saving throw to avoid being charmed or frightened by you. It's like Backlash Wave for charming and frightening. It's a little bit weird, but again, we need to be Fey Wanderer for something we're getting later. 8th level Rangers get another ability score improvement, so we can cap off our strength score to make that tessaiga hit like a demon truck, like if Ghost Rider delivered produce to grocery stores. 9th level Fey Wanderer is the reason we had to choose this weird subclass. The 3rd level spell, exclusive to Fey Wanderers, is Dispel Magic, a spell that removes the effects of some magical spell or effect of 3rd level or lower, and higher level spells with a wisdom check of 10 plus the spell's level. It might not always work, but if it doesn't, just go grind some demons until you can bump your spellcasting modifier. Then you'll be able to take down any barriers you have to. Since that spell is free, we can also grab Conjure Barrage to force a dexterity saving throw on creatures in a 60-foot cone, dealing 6d8 damage to those that fail, half as much to those that succeed. The damage depends on what type of weapon you're throwing. Blades of Blood are probably piercing though. 10th level Rangers get Tireless, giving you a d10 plus your wisdom modifier in temporary HP as an action and amount of times per day equal to your proficiency bonus, and you can remove 1 level of exhaustion on short rests. Cats pretty aggressively have claimed the pet that naps territory, but you know what? Dogs nap too. Have you ever watched a dog take a nap? It's delightful. 11th level Fey Wanderers get Fey Reinforcements to cast Summon Fey once per day for free, and with a spell slot, if they have the spell slots for it. You can even cast it without concentration by shortening its duration to only a minute. What does that translate to for Inuyasha? Shippo. Shippo is a demon, sure, but he's a trickster demon. They have a lot more in common with Fae in D&D than demons in D&D. Also, Shippo is the best, and this ability does not in any way mean that I will never build him as his own character. Shippo build when. 12th level Rangers get an ability score improvement or a feat, and honestly, 3d6 plus 5 is fine for your weapon damage, but it's not like legendary demon sword levels of damage. For that, I want Great Weapon Master. That'll let you take a -5 penalty to your attack rolls to add 10 to the damage rolls with a 2-handed heavy weapon, and make another attack with a heavy weapon after you critically hit, or drop a creature to 0 HP, which means it will help you combo to multiple demons. That's still not the big kill all the demons in one hit attack. Believe it or not, that's high level stuff. 13th level Rangers can learn 4th level spells. Freedom of movement makes you immune to effects that would slow you down, difficult terrain, paralyzation, or restraint, and you can break out of non-magical shackles with 5 feet of movement. Unfortunately, magical arrows pinning you to a tree might keep you there for a while. 14th level Rangers get Vanish, letting you hide as a bonus action, and you can't be tracked by non-magical means. You definitely don't want Naraku coming after you, you're the one going after him. Also, he'll probably use magic. Vanish isn't very good. 15th level Fey Wanderers get Misty Wanderer, letting you cast Misty Step an amount of times per short rest for free equal to your wisdom modifier. Your version of this also lets you bring another person with you. That's 30 feet of teleporting as a bonus action, by the way. Again, all the Fey Wanderer stuff kinda has to be reflavored other than Dispel Magic, but this could be a way to get some of your bonkers hops. 16th level Rangers get one last ability score improvement, bump your wisdom for better adamant barrages. Oh hey, let's get some adamant barrages. Our capstone is the 17th level Ranger for 5th level spells, and I actually want 2 options. You only have 1 slot, so pick between the 2. Either Steel Wind Strike, letting you hit 5 creatures with a melee spell attack that deals 6d10 force damage, then end your turn somewhere within 5 feet of one of the creatures you hit. 5 demons isn't 1,000, but that's still a lot of damage, which should help the party start things off in a better position. Or you could do Adamant Barrage, which would be better. Conjured Volley forces a dexterity saving throw on creatures in a 40-foot radius, 20-foot high cylinder, dealing 8d8 damage of the weapon's type to those that fail. You're shooting sharp crystals, I'd say that's piercing. This would also be a great way to take care of huge groups of demons all at the same time. Now that we've hit level 20, let's figure out how viable this build is. First, Great Weapon Master and Hunter's Mark work together really well to give you some very solid damage with a very solid sword. You're also great at covering large areas with Conjured Barrages and Volleys to handle a crowd if you find yourself outnumbered. Finally, you're really mobile with extra speed and free Misty Steps to teleport in and say nothing personnel, Sesshomaru. For weaknesses, we didn't get to cap off your casting modifier, so your Blades of Blood might not leave people all that bloody. You're also low on charisma, so convincing other people to do what you want could be an issue. Finally, ranger spells and superiority die are both pretty limited resources, so you'll hopefully only be fighting people for the last 8 minutes of each episode. Session. But if the goal is slaying demons to get to the power of becoming a full demon, this is a pretty perfect way to do it. Wind up that sword, scar that wind, and shout your arch's name over and over and over and over and over again. Just try to wrap things up quickly, or you could struggle in a longer session, no Maru. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, subscribe for more. We make 2 videos every week. Join the Patreon to vote for Inosuke or Nezuko from Demon Slayer, and sub to Tulok and Mango for more Tulok fun.